The system sounded fantastic, and I heard some things I didn't hear before. So, last year, at this time, I knew that I was going to be switching magazines and going to the Absolute Sound, and I also knew that I was going to be starting a new website, and everything has worked out beyond my highest expectations. I'm really happy to be working again for the magazine I started out with my website, trackingangle.com. It's growing really quickly, and then I'm doing these records that I talked about today at the Nagra Room. One's on my own label, and one is going to be Patrick Leonard doing it on his label. And we've been playing the lacquers around the show, and people are really, really enjoying. And I really appreciate the Nagra folks allowing me to come here and play records for people. I used to be a disc jockey on the radio, and I loved playing records for people on the radio. And so I don't really have that now. But coming here and doing this is just about as much fun, if not more fun, because I get to do it in front of a live audience. So it's great. If I was here and a system didn't sound good, I would tell you so. But the system sounded fantastic, and it dealt with all the detail that I wanted to hear on those records. And I heard some things I didn't hear before, and it went down low. And the record that I'm producing is a solo piano and a bass player. And it produced that sound, the sensation that I heard sitting in the front row. It was obviously no recording sounds like live, but it was a pretty close reproduction of it. Rufus Reed's bass was not in the speaker. It was in the middle of the room where he sat, in between what would be a pair of loudspeakers. And Kaelin's Fazioli piano sounded really clean and not too crispy, just the right kind of texture to a piano. And I said to the people afterwards in the front row, I said, if you had been at the Clavier House to hear this live, you would agree with me that this is a pretty good approximation of what the live performance sounded like. And it was. And then we played this heavy prog rock recording that Patrick Leonard did, and the system really did a good job of giving us the slam and the detail and the three-dimensionality that I know is in the recording. And the system sounded great. I had no complaints. I could take it home and be very happy with it, as I should be, because it's a very expensive, very good system. I've been doing this just about my whole life. I mean, I've always been into records since I was a little kid, and vinyl. I mean, I had 78 RPM shellac records at first. That's how old I am. But I've always been into this, and then when I got to college, I was on the radio station in college. Got fired a couple of times, unfairly. And I worked in record stores in college, and so I've always been into this. And then I got to Boston to go to law school, but I went to work in a record store after hours because I wanted to be close to records and the record industry. And then I got to be a disc jockey on the radio in Boston and do radio commercials for stereo stores. So, I've always been into this. That's it. Those are my adventures for now. See you next year.
Yeah.